Hello, my name is Tony Osborne and I'm the section manager for the signalling department for the North London line. Following Lean Learning Academy number 5, I came back into the depot and installed the daily comms, shift planning and handover board. So the way that it works is the daily comms board is basically a script. It gives the guys a forum so they can come into this section and go through everything that they're going to go through during the day. So the first part is it's split into categories. You have safety, quality, delivery, people, performance and cost, and workplace environment. The reasoning behind it is so we don't actually miss anything during the day. Some of these are very, very important and I'll run you through them. So the first part of safety is, have we completed our safety hour this week? I expect all of the guys on the ground to complete a safety hour, and this is kind of a prompt to just ensure that it's being completed. Do you have the correct safe system or work pack? If not, why not? It could be an error on my part, it could be not put out yet, it could be the fact that we haven't actually planned the work, so we can hold the planner, myself, or even the team accountable for that. The next section is correct PPE. We expect everybody, and we will provide everybody with the correct PPE. We just want everybody to ensure that they've got that. Benefits of risk-based commentary, take 5. Risk-based commentary is something that we've looked at within Camden, and we've produced a video which has gone out pretty much nationally at the moment. We've had some really good feedback on it. Take 5 is a new initiative which is being briefed out to the team, so we can actually stop Take 5 before we're making critical and sometimes life-changing decisions. The next part is local seasonal safety concerns. With respect to that, it can be anything from, have we gritted the yard? Have we provided enough water for our staff when it's really hot outside? Have we provided sunscreen? The concerns and actions on the planning board empowers the guys to actually make a concern, and we will action it. Safety issues from management, including late notice changes, is a realization from my point that these meetings are not going to happen every time. There are going to be occasions when there's going to be a showstopper. The trains are stopped on the North London line and the guys are going to be straight out. During that time, I want them to remember this point and look at the safety issues that actually arise either by email or telephone call, or actually within their team talk about what issues they're going to get when they do go to a failure. The next part is quality. I want the guys to then, at this point, after their safety category, look at the planned week's work. I want them to look at what's coming up, what's going to be by the end of their week, and if there are any issues with that, raise them early. North London line access is really poor, so we only have set times, so our access needs to be used at all times. So what I like the teams to do, for instance, if we look at today is the Tuesday, the 11th of the 4th. Today we've had fault cover and Camden incline maintenance. Tomorrow they have fault cover and there's 2 guys on. What I'd like them to do is look at the fault list, identify any work that can be completed. It may be that we need to get equipment, additional staff to complete this, and it's something we can look at in advance. Attention to detail is key to quality and performance. I believe that this is a really important part of our day-to-day life within the signalling department. Attention to detail has stopped many a failure and will continue to do so if we keep that at the back of our mind. Next part of quality is details on WAIF and performance. Data is very important to the signalling department, and if we don't complete our WAIFs and our faults correctly and provide as much information as we can, we're never going to get the finished article out of it. Next part is communications. Communications are very important. Communications between planner and team, planner and management, and overall communications between the whole signalling department is really important. Paperwork to be completed before the end of the shift. It's a very basic one. We have an end of shift report that's sent out, so the majority of our paperwork does come back. It just gives the guys a prompt to ensure this is completed. The next section of the daily comms board is, will we complete all the work within the time and resource provided? With the access being so small, there's nothing worse than a job finishing on a Thursday after 5 nights that have been planned and the work not being completed. If this is highlighted early as a concern, we can either get additional resource to use in the planned possessions that we have, or we can swap the work around, change it. There may be some other work that can be categorized later on and we can complete that at a later date. The next section is delivery. I want the guys to reflect on the previous shift and identify ways to make us safer, more efficient. Just using this board as an example, we had an issue which was raised as a concern, which was Richmond points. We would always complete it without an isolation. For those of you that don't know, third and fourth rail area, within Network Rail standards, we can actually work there on a set of points without an isolation. It has 9 ends of points there. It has the third and fourth rail. The infrastructure that it sits on is quite unstable, if you like. There's lots of tripping hazards. So we put a safety case together. We went to our IME, our IMDM, and got full support, and we now only do our planned maintenance with an isolation. Changing teams is an option. Changing teams, I want people to look at, if there's 2 teams on, potentially we're going to get the best out of the team, or if we're going to use that experience to train other people, we can do that as we're moving along. Do we have the correct equipment for the job in hand? There's nothing worse as a TO or a technician not having the equipment relevant for your job. I want the guys to raise it as a concern if they see anything that they don't have or can use a different tool better. We'll always explore, and it kind of empowers the guys to look at new ways to do things. The next part is people. Competencies are part of our life-saving rules, and not only do we check, but I want the guys, when they check their Sentinel, to identify any competencies that may be running out, that may be need an additional piece of mentorship. Also, following a number of incidents that we do have, I want the guys on the ground to identify workshops that are required. By workshops, I mean, for instance, we have a piece of equipment at Acton Wells, which is a GETS MCS system. So it's a GETS modular control system, which we've had a 2-day training course a number of years ago on, and there is skill fade. So I want the guys to be raising as a concern that, do you know what, we need to work on this equipment more often. So can we put something together where we can mitigate against longer failures and reduce our delay per incident? The next section is identify resource issues, annual leave, sickness. Some of the time we get it wrong and miss annual leave. Nothing's ever 100% perfect. It does happen. So it gives the guys an opportunity to raise as a concern that, do you know what, you've missed a day's annual leave on Thursday, get somebody else in, otherwise you're not going to get your complete work. And it comes down to access again. We want to utilise the most access that we do have with the teams that we've got. The next part is performance and cost. It was originally set up as cost, however, I believe that the performance section is more important. So what I want to do is discuss handover and critical information between teams. A good handover is imperative to what we're trying to do. We don't miss work, we don't repeat work that other teams have done during failure modes. The next part is delay per incident, so DPI. What we want the guys to look at is initiatives around how we can reduce our DPI. The platform is here at Camden where we want to push people to the next level. We want them to come up with the next idea. Potentially we can change the way that we're working. And everybody is fully supported. And if they do raise it as a concern, it's not necessarily a concern then, but if they raise an initiative, we will push it throughout the DU, we will trial it, we will provide the evidence and the raw data to actually show that this is making a difference, and this is something that can be implemented not only within Camden, potentially the route, potentially the rest of the country. The next part is potential risks. North London Line issues outstanding. I want the guys to try and gain experience by the failures that are outstanding out there. So the potential risks are using as an example if it is stormy. So if it's stormy, we would need additional FIRS units, additional FIRS unit testers. It gives everybody within the team a forum to discuss risks that they see. The next part is workplace environment. Cleanliness of the yard and mess room is a basic thing. It gives the guys a chance to air their concerns about that. Check axial counter computer. The axial counter diagnostic computer is something that we use to interrogate our axial counter evaluator, and will operate successfully unless you close the lid with this particular computer. If you close the lid without shutting off, it comes up with a PGP encryption, and it's taken 20 minutes on 2 occasions. We don't want that to happen during a failure, so they check that. Vehicle checks completed, lighting in the yard. Lighting in the yard is quite a concern. It's been close called. So coming away from the daily comms, we have the shift planning, comms and handover. The guys raise concern. Every concern that has ever been raised is managed through a traffic management system. So if it's been completed, it gets a green. If it's not been completed, but the guys have been provided information, then it's an amber. And if I've done nothing with it, or the team have done nothing with it, then it is a red. We've had some very, very good concerns. We've so far stopped, we standardise what a lost shift is. We've stopped 78 lost shifts so far. We have had 5 failures which have actually been prevented, and we've also reduced service affecting failures. We've reduced our outstanding faults, and we've utilised more staff on more occasions during the bigger jobs. A part of the section is what we show the guys is their roster. This is the traffic management system of the concerns and actions. We have our infrastructure reliability report showing the guys what performance Tottenham is having, not only Tottenham but the route. We have service and non-service affecting failures, which we've been looking at recently. Previously to this, we had lost shifts, returned paperwork by team, and we've all seen a dramatic increase in the outstanding faults that we've had. The non-service affecting failures reducing, obviously reduces our service affecting failures, and the lost shifts have dramatically reduced. That's just a quick overview of our daily comms and shift planning. Thank you very much.